For all the wonderful things you've done, for all the victories that you have won, as joy comes with the rising sun. Kutiaga Allah, for giving us your only son, for letting us to stand as one, for giving us hope until you come. Kutiaga Allah, Shiabamu Rayuwa, Shiabamu Salama, Silvashi Kotia, Kutiaga Allah.
Hello and welcome again to One on One with Ann and Priscilla. This program is brought to you by International Committee on Nigeria for the campaign Hear Their Voices. For those of you here in the US, we hope you had a wonderful Labor Day yesterday. And I'm so excited to be back here with you to discuss this very, very important topic. I'm excited to have Ann here with me again. Ann, it's a pleasure to have you back. I hope you had a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priscilla. I had a good week and I'm glad to be back so we can watch another video and hear more voices.
Yeah, it's a blessing to keep hearing these voices. Last week, we heard from two young ladies who shared their experience with the terrorist activity going on in Nigeria. We heard from a young lady whose home was burnt down and another young lady who was involved in a bombing and the trauma that has caused and the fear that has inspired in her life and in the way she's living every day. Today, we will go back and hear from more voices. We'll be hearing from an older woman this morning or this afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Her story has left me speechless. Stay tuned to listen to her voice.
I am from Kagoro, Ukundaji, Kaduna State. They attacked my village on July 19th, 2020. Everything was okay. We were living peacefully, and somebody was having a celebration. Before we knew it, Fulani militants came around, just started shooting children and the youth that tomorrow are supposed to hold the country, that will help us older people. That's how they killed these kids. We then brought those that we could to the hospital and have been since doing all we can. The government hasn't come to help. All that was in my heart was that the world was unfolding that day. They shot and killed children, bullet holes all over their bodies. How can you sleep? You wouldn't be able to sleep. I thought I was gonna die. The trauma that affected me that day, my blood pressure went up.
Wow.
I don't know about you, Anne, but that literally left me speechless. I think the biggest shock for me is the fact that there's a target on children, on youngsters, people who are expected. And in our culture, yes, the younger generation is expected to care for the older generation. And there's this break in the continuation of generations that I'm concerned about what like 10 years from now, will there be a generation missing in some of these cultures? And she's talked a lot about trauma again. And I know you mentioned, I think a couple weeks ago, about how people can access this help for trauma. But can you just raise some more awareness of how this families might be dealing with trauma?
Well, I think when it's in a small community like this, they have a hard time. Like she said, they don't have the ability to take care of everybody because they're all traumatized. So they're looking for outside help, but they still have to help themselves. So I think one thing that is really important for people to know is that people need to tell their stories, and there needs to be somebody who listens to them. But if you've also been traumatized, that can be difficult because as you're listening, it can also be traumatizing. So it's like you do actually need somebody from outside to actually come in and help with this.
Yeah. I can't even begin to imagine the trauma of the situation, because seeing your children being killed and the visual image, and I apologize for some of us whom this might be triggering, but I want us to visualize for a second. She said bullet holes all over their bodies. This is not a movie. This, as we say in Nigeria, this one no be film trick. Nah, this is real life with people you lived with, kids that were raised around you. For some of you who may not be familiar with Nigerian culture, this may not be your personal kids, but all the kids are raised together within a community. And I just want us to visualize, because like Anne said, they need people to listen to them, but hear voices, and we don't let our bodies and our minds enter into their story. It's easy to be like, oh, too bad, you know, her community got shut up, and you know, there are people in the hospitals. So I want you to listen, not just hear her voice, but try to take yourself into her situation. She says she wasn't able to sleep. Her blood pressure went up. So this is calling, I just want to call attention to the fact that even the people that survived are facing health risks because they're dealing with blood pressure, not just psychological trauma, but then physical trauma. And would you like to add anything to that about just all the medical things that they might be facing right now?
Right. Blood pressure is mentioned a lot when you talk about trauma, and it's mostly maybe older adults, but it's a sign of stress. And there can be other things that kids get, such as hyperventilating, panic attacks, those kind of things. And not always does a doctor know what that is or what it's from. So there's just a lot of ways it can play out. And I know many were in the hospital, many were injured besides the ones who were killed as well. And it's just the whole village is grieving at the same time.
Let's hear some more from this woman about her experiences. Stay tuned.
Truthfully, it is so sad. A lot of the older people, all they do is just cry all day. Some of them, up till date, it's like they're out of their senses. Some can't even talk because of the trauma of watching their children and family members being killed. Their blood pressure has gone up. Even my father, I'm doing all I can for him. Even his blood pressure has gone up. He is just incoherent. He talks and it's hard to understand what he is saying. He is traumatized by what has happened. Yes, this is very sad. All I can do is cry. My heart is broken. So people should listen to what I have to say. There are a lot of challenges. Kids are not in school. There is also COVID. Just so much confusion. It's just hard to sleep because of what happened. That is the challenge. Also, the kids have been brought to the hospital, and we are doing all we can without any money or medicine. We cook from morning till night, and it's not like we have the strength to do all these things, but we do what we can. We need help. We need a lot of help. We want people to come to Nigeria to see what is happening in this state, because we can't sleep due to all that is happening. We don't have the strength to help ourselves with what has happened. There is no money, nothing. You see your relatives and your children dying. Now, if someone is injured and they need to operate, we don't even have the money to help them. All we do is cook to feed our kids, to keep them alive. We plead with America. Come and see what is happening and help us. God is first in our lives, but we ask them to help because they are killing us. We have been left with our grandchildren. They need to be educated, and we have no strength to do all these things. So we are asking for help.
If any of you are like me right now, you may be feeling anger, frustration, and helplessness, almost feeling paralyzed. Like, what can I do to make a difference? These are real life situations. And I will tell you, of course, as the host, I have to watch that. And every time it's getting harder and harder to hear what's happening, y'all. This is real life. Grandparents being left with grandchildren because one generation has been wiped out. It's time. It's way past time for us to act. It's way past time. We've been silent for too long. So it's time for us to get loud with this. Get loud with this, y'all. Get loud. Share it as much as possible. This is not a joke. This is people's lives. And they may feel like, you may feel a little bit distant from this because maybe you're not connected to Nigeria, but these are children. There's a generation being wiped out. And some of you may not know about the medical system in Nigeria, but you might be dying. And if you don't have the money for your surgery, then you're done. So, Anne, I'll just ask, is there a way that people who are feeling helpless like me, what are some ways today, right now, that they can go get involved?
So I think this is a theme every week for us. I know last time you really stressed how Nigerians can help and Americans as well. I think that going to iconhelp.org will give ideas. There's a donate button. By donating, you can help a family for a week or 2 weeks. And for myself, I was challenged last week and I've done more reading. And even though it's really hard to read these things, it's necessary and we can't close our eyes to it. And America has a stake in Nigeria. The whole world does, really. I mean, they're the most powerful, economically strong country, or they have been, or they could be. We as Americans, we know that there's large sums of money going to Nigeria for investment and for helping take care of crises. And we just want to make sure the Nigerian government is held accountable. And So we need to look at, we are looking, and we need more people who are looking at this. So we really need to get involved. We need to write our political leaders in our areas and put pressure on them, and so they can put pressure on the Nigerian government. So how do you think that like this village will look like next year or 2 years from now? How will the people get through this trauma?
I can't even begin to imagine, because I can't stress enough that our culture is a word of mouth culture. It's based on stories that are told. You learn your history from your parents, and then you teach it to your children. And this is a generation being wiped out is definitely going to influence what the history of this particular community would look like. I can't begin to imagine what next year will be like. Will these kids be able to get back to school? Will parents, she says, we're just cooking. Right now, the goal is to survive, to eat and sleep. They can't sleep. I wonder what it would look like in a year from now. I don't think it will be same old. I don't think it will be life as usual. And I really think it will be very different, especially in the sense of learning their history and knowing where they come from. This is going to go in the history books. There's going to be a dent. The problem is there's parts of Nigeria, and I'm going to emphasize this again. There are Nigerians in Lagos, Ibadan, Benin, Abuja that are like, oh, what's going on? Why are you all talking like Nigeria is at war? We're fine. Guess what? What's happening in some of these rural communities may not be affecting you today, but it will affect a nation. These are our people. We cannot just keep being silent. So if you have access to people in government, this is speaking to Nigerians now, speak up, share this post. For me, CNN, BBC, some of these news outlets, we're not telling the stories. So I'm like, where am I supposed to find it? Now you have a place. It's right there on your screen. iCanHelp.org/engage. Now, there's not much. Many of you might be like, how can I influence the government? Let people talk about it. If we're talking, I'm going to share this with some influential people in Nigeria. And if you're an artist or an actor, or you have some level of influence, share this. We need more people to start talking about this. This is what should be on the news. And I could just go on and on. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. This is just, it's heavy. And
it's really overwhelming.
It really is. It's actually almost annoying, because there's still people that are saying, why are you making such a big deal about this? And we are, because it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
I think it's so hard for us to understand that the government does not act, that there's inaction of the government. And that happens here too. Obviously, I know that's true. But like you said, there is a genocide almost going on. Yeah. So please, everybody, share this, talk with your friends, talk with influential people, and go to iconhelp.org to find more of the facts, and share this on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please, please.
We actually have
a pleading. We're pleading.
We are. And to plead with you, Father, we have an incentive this week. And while we shouldn't have to incentivize this, but we want to. We are determined to get this message out. When you retweet, repost, or share this broadcast, we will, with the hashtag Hear Their Voices, one-on-one AP, or hashtag Silent Slaughter, we will randomly select one winner to receive a free T-shirt, and randomly select another winner to receive a free hat. So go ahead, share away. This is serious. I feel like we've turned the corner, and this is getting to the heart of the matter. It's time to do something about this.
Absolutely.
It's time to do something about this. I want you to write in the chat right now as you're watching and say, I will do something about this. Make a commitment. I will share this post. Write it in the chat. We want to see it. You know, put your hands up and say, I'm standing with Nigeria. I'm standing with Nigeria.
Yeah.
We want a response today. Let's begin to share this message. Let's talk about it. Break the silence.
Absolutely. It was great being with everybody today, and we look forward to next week when we'll meet you again. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Remember to follow us, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, icanhelp.org. Respond and share. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. God bless you.